Alrighty, hello everybody and welcome back. So today is the Dojo Rematch and Archtamer guide for the bulky team that I've been showing on the channel. So, first of all, I'd like to start off with if anyone is actually interested in the PvP of Temtem but doesn't like the grind, and maybe you just want to try out this team in PvP, well, you can actually do so for free. There's like a built-in Temtem Showdown. All you have to do is click on the competitive tab, click on the showdown button here, the S, and then these will probably be empty, and all you have to do is click this little button down here on the team, and all you have to do is type in the code. And the code for this team I'm using today is, voila, CWCPX. So if you type in this code, you'll be able to play the exact team I'm using today for PvP. If you do want to use this team in Dojo Rematches, you will have to train everything up yourself. But let's jump into it and see what the team's got. So this is the team. So this Volfi is the same as the aggro team. Volfi is just a very strong and consistent Tem with only one weakness. It's great for picking up fast KOs with Plague, spread damage with Sandstorm, and a high damage Earth option with Dust Vortex. It is also able to avoid a move with Bush if needed, and it's also immune to spread option, like spread moves entirely. It is a bit frail on the defensive side, so even though it doesn't have a direct... Why is it still... Even though it doesn't have like an actual weakness to a lot of things, its stats are generally lower. So typically you only want to bring it in against things it deals 2x damage to. Volerend, also a Tem with only one weakness, great defensive type. Last time we played the aerobic spread, this time we're playing the anaerobic, which raises its special defense when you use a toxic technique, but does lower special attack. So this Volerend is a physical attacker. Why does it keep doing that? Where you can see that we invest in a lot of attack and also some more defense just to balance out. We don't put much speed into it because Volerend doesn't have any priority with this set. The goal is basically to spam Noxious Bomb on the opponents, Toxic Plume if you're next to Tuvine, but that's the only synergy, and you don't have to force yourself to do that. It's mainly if you need to finish off something in the other slot, or just want to deal the Poison Tick and raise your special defense. Beef Up is for offensive scaling, and Feather Gatling is just for your wind move. You do lower your special attack every time you use this, so don't expect Toxic Plume to do much damage, and I would advise against using any special moves on this Volerend trait. Handcuffs on Volfi for Plague, Sweatband on Volerend because it helps it stay on the board for longer and continue stacking up its special defense. Next up we got Tuvine. Tuvine's one of my favorites for a team like this. It's like one of the best like slower, bulkier Tems just for its like offensive capabilities. It's got, I think, the highest defense in the game. Pretty solid HP stat. Its special defense is a bit low, but we invest some of our defensive TVs into that. So we kind of balance out the HP and the special defense, so it takes decent... It resists both physical and special moves decently. We have enough speed in it to outspeed Volerend. Volerend's a fairly common pick, and it's just allow it to have some amount of speed as well. And then the rest is just kind of an attack. As far as the moves, basically Crystal Plume and Feather Gatling are your two move options that you're going to click most of the time. Mineral Hail is for spread damage. And beware, Tornado is purely there for priority. It's there if you need to outspeed something that's faster than you and just finish it off a little bit. It will not do much damage because it is a special attack, and Tuvine is a physical attacker. Just be aware of that. Both traits can absolutely work for Tuvine. I personally like using its other trait, Determined, but Receptive is perfectly okay as well. In fact, it's probably like easier to use, and that's why I'm recommending it. It is primarily so it combos with its item Bait, which is good because Tuvine usually eats a lot of status effects, and also it has high stamina cost moves, which you can use the Invigorized for. Next up is Sanbi. So Sanbi is probably like the tankiest mental outside of maybe Gallios, but Sanbi has also got a massive attack stat. You might even use these to level up your Tems with, or in the melee shrine. So it has just enough speed so it can outspeed most things with Transient Echo priority, and then it's just got a lot of HP and some attack investments, so you can deal a lot of damage with Matter Teleport and Transient Echo, and even do good damage with Head Charge just in case somebody would bring in a crystal. It does have Dozing Hit as the trait, so you can put melees and neutrals to sleep before they can even attack, as long as you're faster. So the speed is good for that, and also it's a good combo with Transient Echo. So it's really helpful against like the Kisuwa and the not Properton, the other one on Arbery. The melee dojo, in other words. And then also like Hypnosis, just in case you want to put something to sleep anyways. It is pretty stamina heavy though, so we would put Fake Beard on it so it's able to stay on the field longer. Next up is Nesla. Nesla's just got a really great offensive typing, and it's got enough bulk it can live things, so it's got priority with both its water moves, spread damage with Electric Storm, it's immune to electric moves. Most of you guys probably run this Tem with Chain Lightning to heal itself. It really doesn't heal very much at all. Can't recommend it. But you know, that strategy's there. If you're gonna like do that gimmicky strat where you heal yourself, you can actually use Thunderstrike on yourself, and you'll take a lot more damage than you would ever take from Chain Lightning, and by healing it off. It's just got enough speed to outspeed a few select Tems, mainly Chromion. And so these are all like technically PvP spreads, but they're also like very general spreads that you can use to run and beat anything. And I'll show you that you can easily beat pretty much all the dojos with spreads like this. So even though some of these things are calced to live or outspeed things for PvP, it's still nice to have the TVs. Because like you want to be able to take a couple hits on Nesla so that you can keep dealing damage. Chamomile is just because you're probably going to get hit with poison ticks if you're up against toxics, and you'll also probably get burned if you're swapping in to eat fire attacks because you resist them with your water typing. Next up is Hazrat. Hazrat this is also the same spread as the aggro team. If there was any time I'd swap out on this team, it would be Hazrat. Hazrat is meant to be more of a faster spread to finish off low health opponents with Lava Wave, Wastewater, or maybe Embers, and also just punish some teams with Heat Up. It's got enough bulk to live like one hit, but in general it's pretty squishy and dies, but it does do a lot of damage, and even if it dies, it gets Toxic Farewell, so that's always good too. Broccolum is probably the best Tem on this team. It's just very strong right now, so be aware of potential future nerfs. I don't think they will though. I run Sensei Robe, just max special attack, have enough stamina for 3 moves in a row, and then rest in HP. Strong Liver just makes it so that you're much better into the Takuma Dojo, because you're super effective against crystals with your melee moves, and now all of a sudden you're immune to the poison as well, or the toxics as well. So that's very nice. And then Gario is the last Tem. Autotomy is a very good trait. It's got enough bulk where it can live most things, even a Plague from Volphy, which is nice. And then it's just got solid damage options all around. You run Gravel Bag just because Soil Steam is a good turn 1 option. And that way you're able to use high damage moves of both its Earth and Water typing on turn 1. So that's kind of an intro of the team. Now let's hop in and run through these battles. So I'll try and explain the logic as I go through. But these teams do change every single week, so there's not like a universal, like, oh, just follow this exact strategy every single game and it'll always play out the same, because it doesn't work like that. So right now it looks like Sophia, so she's got winds and waters as her typing. She's got way more waters than winds. So the two Tems that are going to be really good here are Nesla, and if I would ban out winds, Hazrat. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ban Grandpa, because Grandpa is a wind. It potentially has Bird Season. Bird Season makes it do 2 times damage to Volerend, because it makes it do double damage against winds, and the Volerend's typing normally takes 1 times. And then also it makes it so that she has nothing that can hit Hazrat, because Gazuma doesn't have a good turn 1 wind move. It only has Wind Blade, which doesn't do very much damage. So we're going to start by picking Nesla, because Nesla's really good here. And then I'm a little surprised by this pick. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go Tuvine instead of Hazrat. We still have Hazrat available anyways. We're just going to ban the Babua, as that's the only thing that can really deal with Nesla. And we got a ton of stuff that can beat her, so we're just going to pick Hazrat and probably not Gario, because Gario isn't great against winds or waters. So the main reason I pick 2 Vine here is because a Crystal Plume Gatling will hurt the Gazuma really bad, but it also is pretty threatening to the Calibus. So there's nothing in the back that can eat a Crystal Plume Gatling, so it's really good to just Thunder Strike the Calibus here and Crystal Plume Gatling the Gazuma. Even though the Gazuma swaps here, next turn I would be able to use Electric Storm and finish off whatever comes in. But it looks like Nesla comes in, which is a little strange. I'm not sure about that one, because Nesla still takes 2 times damage from that. So Calibus takes decent damage from that, and this is why we run Chamomile, because we want to eat the toxic attack here to survive, or to get damage on the Calibus, but then it's going to end up hurting us pretty bad. So I'm going to actually double into the Calibus this turn to try and kill it. Looks like a swap, but there's nothing that really... Okay. That was actually just the AI predicting my attack, which is a little unfortunate. But luckily 2 Vine doesn't take too much from this, and our Nesla actually heals. I was a little scared to attack their Nesla because there's a good chance that it would heal. That's why I was going after the Calibus. And I also didn't want our Nesla to have to take another poison hit from the Calibus. Okay. So now we're in a really good spot though. So I'm actually going to rest on Nesla this turn just so we can keep some stamina and finish this battle faster. But it would be a-okay to use Electric Storm this turn and then Mineral Hail, and anything that comes in pretty much dies. I don't think anything can eat that combo except Calibus here. We've seen Aquatic Whirlwind. It does do quite a bit of damage to 2 Vine, but we're still doing a-okay. Basically, Nesla's our win con here, so as long as we keep Nesla alive, we're not in any danger. And we still have options in the back. Like I said, this is like probably the easiest dojo by far. Looks like a water move onto the Nesla. That's fine, we don't mind that. Gonna finish off the Calibus with the Feather Gatling and the Electric Storm here. Ukama takes loads of damage, but it does survive. See Oshiara come in. It's a little unfortunate. We kind of wanted the Gazuma to come in. You could swap out 2 Vine in this situation so that you can bring it in against Gazuma later. I'm just gonna leave it. And I'm actually going to use Thunder Strike on the Oshiara. And I'll try and use Feather Gatling just in case the Ukama... Yeah, I figured we'd lose 2 Vine there, but it doesn't matter. I won't take hardly any damage from the Tsunami. Unfortunately, Oshiara has good enough special defense that it can live a hit like that. So it will be one more before I can finish him off. We're going to bring in the Wolfie here. Wolfie can outspeed Oshiara. Even if it's a max speed Oshiara, it can still kill. With Plague. And so we get to move first. We'll see what the Ukama does. I'm guessing it's going to attack the Wolfie. It does. So that means Nesla's able to finish off the Ukama here. Now we just gotta chip down the Gazuma until it dies. Thing is pretty tanky, especially on the special attack side. I'm just gonna swap out our Nesla, bring in Hazrat and Dust Vortex. If there were more wins on Sophia's team, you would probably have to be more careful of letting 2 Vine die, because 2 Vine is able to resist wins. You'd probably still want to ban Grandpa in that situation. just because Grandpa can hit Tuvine and Volerend. And I'm assuming they would ban Nessa in that case. Alright, but that's Sophia down. Alright. On to the Omni gyms, dojos. Let's see if I can beat my time. Probably not, because the last team was aggro, and this one is slower. So because it's a lot safer to play a team like this generally, because you can take a couple extra hits that you can't afford on the aggro team, but at the same time you're just not killing them as fast. So sometimes it's better to have that extra damage instead. I mean, both are equally as viable. It's just kind of up to your play style. So here, because I've got 2 Earths, I'm not afraid of Scaravolt. I think the Tem that gives me the most value here is Gario, if I just ban the Volphy. I know I can take a hit from Volphy, but it's just kind of annoying to have to deal with. So I'm going to ban the Volphy. Volerend gets banned. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to first pick the... I'm going to pick the Hazrat. So I'm doing this because I want to scare off the Kinu pick, because the Kinu is the biggest problem for Gario. I'm not super afraid of Nidrasil, and because I picked Hazrat anyways, I can scare off the Nidrasil. So I'm banning the Kinu now, so now Gario has practically no obstacles to just beating this entire team. And even if it did run into any, we'll pick Tuvine to deal with the Nidrasil. We'll pick Nessa to deal with the fires. And then we'll just pick Broccolum to deal with Tataru if we need to in the end. But I think that we can probably deal with all or almost all of them with just Gario and Hazrat. There's a mob's lunch, which is actually really annoying, because that means that I'm gonna lose stamina and have to waste time while I'm trying to kill these guys. I'm gonna click heat up on the Hazrat, and we're gonna go for Soil Steam. I figured the Scaravel would swap. I'm a little surprised it's swapping into Vulor though. I would have expected Tataru to come in. And Yggdrasil stays in, uses spores on my Gario. It's a very tanky Vulor. Way more than I would have thought. So I'm going to use Lava Wave on the Yggdrasil now, and we'll use Rockfall, which can hopefully finish off the Vulor, and maybe even finish off whatever's left of the Yggdrasil. We do see an allergic spread. Because it's a special move and Yggdrasil is a bad special attacker, it's not going to do too much damage. But it does get me in range to die. It isn't a resilient Vulor, so it will get this Stone Ball off on Hazrat, which is kind of unfortunate, but there's nothing we could do. We could have swapped, but then the Yggdrasil would have survived. But Hazrat's tanky enough it can take that. Vulor's a very weak Tem. It's not fully evolved. Okay. So, because we have Nessa that can deal with Scaravolt, I'm just going to stay in on the Gario. We don't have any moves. Because of the stupid Mom's Lunch from the Yggdrasil, we can't use a third move without overexerting. So I'm just going to click Lava Wave on the Tataru. And I'm going to use Soil Steam on the Raise. Because at this point I'm just trying to deal as much damage as I can. If Hazrat dies, its trait will proc, and both will be poisoned. And whoever killed it will do extra damage. Unfortunately, the AI is pretty smart and actually burned me to reduce my damage here. Which is super annoying, because now he'll probably be able to live. Yeah, if we weren't burned, the rays would have died this turn. Even worse is we're stuck being useless for one more turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring in the Broccolum first to try and finish off the Tataru. Okay, we got outsped and burned. I probably could have brought in 2-Vine and tried to do the same thing. Luckily the AI is not all that smart and still attacks the dying Gario. That was a very tanky Tataru. I know I'm burned, but still. Alright, now we just bring in Nesla and end the game. Scaravolt can't do anything to Nesla, and neither can Raise. So we just give that Tataru another shout. Spit some water at the Raise. Even the Fierce Claw's not going to do much. It's a very... This stupid Tataru is extremely tanky, but it does like no damage. It's more just annoying than anything. Alright. And now we have Inner Spirit off of hold, so we can use Aquatic Whirlwind and Inner Spirit and ruin this poor Scaravolt's day. With the half full boost, it is pretty tanky. So it's not like you can kill it with one water hit. So that's why we needed the extra damage if we wanted to kill it in one turn. But it does go down. Alrighty. So next up is Tihani. So she actually is more specifically oriented around natures and fires. Rari is kind of goofy. He's got some like neutrals and other stuff mixed in there. So we're like decent against natures and fires. We got a lot of things that can deal with fires, not as much that can deal with natures. So we'll see if she's more specialized around which. Because if she's more specialized around fires, then we want to play around Nesla and Gario. But this actually is like an even split. So this one's a little tough. So, but what I do know is that Kinu, Moments, and Chimerian do not have good turn 1s or a turn 1 at all for nature attacks. And so Beta Burst is this thing's only turn 1, and like Plasma Beams or Microwaves is this thing. Sharp Leaf Chimerian, I don't know if it's going to be running that or not. So I know that if I ban the Cerneef, I don't have to worry about taking too much damage turn 1. So we do see the Gario ban. So what I actually want to do is I'm going to bring in... It's actually a little tough. There is like a... We're going to bring in Volphy. And we're going to bring in Nesla now. So now we just need to ban Chimerian. And then the only thing that we're really afraid of is like a Kinu, and I guess this thing can still use Resin Trap. But for the most part, we're just going to double into the Tolkien slot until, at least for the first turn, then we can swap out the second turn. I'm going to bring Sanby. Sanby is more or less like the move flank we were running from last time. It's pretty good into anything where it's not weak against. And even against things it is weak against, it still can hang in there. I'm going to leave Broccolum out just because Auhi and Kinu both completely wall it. But 2-Vine can at least get some Feather Gatlings out for 1x damage against everything other than Tolkien. It also is immune to burns with bait, so that can be nice too. Alright, so we avoid the heater from Tolkien. Volphy wasn't doing much damage this game, or this round anyways, so we're just going to double in on this turn. We see the Kinu swap in. Not much we can do about that. We won't take any damage this turn, but they won't take much either. Yeah, that's hardly any damage. Alright. So unfortunately, neither of these guys are doing a whole lot this turn. So I'm actually going to double swap. We're going to bring in Volorend. Actually, we're going to swap the other order. We're going to swap in our 2-Vine to the Volphy slot, and then Volorend in for the Nesla. Because we want to resist the incoming nature moves on the Nesla. And Volorend will resist them. So the problem here is that we're going to be playing kind of like a back and forth. Where the fires are going to come in and out, and one of the natures are also going to be in and out. So it's going to be a very slow battle, unfortunately. But there's nothing we can do to avoid that. Because I'm expecting like the fires to come in, I'm actually just gonna... I'm gonna use... Oh my... I'm gonna use Feather Gatling. And while I wanted to use Toxic Plume, this thing is probably Viral Combustion and it'll actually burn me instead. So I'm gonna use Noxious Bomb instead. I was expecting the Kinu to swap out. I just didn't know what was swapping in, if it was going to be Tolkien or Volcrane or Drakash. Oh, it looks like a double swap. So both of these guys are coming in. So we really want Nesla on this board. Volorend's fine to stay in here. It's not in any danger. I don't want Nesla to take any unnecessary damage, so I'm actually going to swap in Volphy here. And we're going to use Toxic Plume. Just because this is like the most damage I can get done this turn by using with the poison tick on both of them. Fiery Soul doesn't do a whole lot. We're already raising my special defense, and Volorend already has a very high natural special defense. It looks like we're faster than the Volcrane, which is good to know. Yep, there's the like physical attack weakness I was talking about on Volphy. How it really doesn't like taking those. Alright, so now I'm going to use Sandstorm to try and threaten out both of these guys. And I'm going to use Noxious Bomb. I'm going to choose the Drakash slot, but the AI will probably... Oh. I really thought they would swap. Oh well, Volphy's able to avoid spread moves like I mentioned before with its trait. Volcrane goes down before it even gets to attack. And Drakash is getting weaker as well. It's only got one more hit before it OXs and probably dies. So we're just going to use Plague, and I'm going to use... I can't use Toxic Plume, which is annoying. And we're going to use Noxious Bomb on this slot, because this will cover for the Kinu swap, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So now the Kinu will be trapped from the Plague, and I'll be using a Nox Bomb on it. And with this Sweatband, like this is Volorend's 5th turn on the board, and it'll be able to attack again next turn. It is a Digi-threat with synergy on Volphy, so Volphy will be going down here. Volphy can actually push off Doom of an ally if you use Plague on somebody else, because that'll apply 2 statuses over the Doom. Which is some tech... Oh, and it can remove Doom from itself with Bush. Now, if I really wanted Volphy to survive a while, I could do that, for sure. But the thing is, I really don't care about Volphy surviving at this point. I just kind of want it to deal a little bit of damage and then get out of there. So I'm gonna actually use the Toxic Plume now, just to finish off the Kinu. And Moments, even with Viral Combustion, does have... Alright, it still gets hit by the Poison Ticks. It looks like it's not even that trait anyways. That's just a bad spread made by whoever built this, because Building Blocks has anti-synergy with its other trait. Alright, so now we use Sandstorm, and I'm just going to get some some damage off on the moments. We're just looking for like little bits of damage now. And while I'm waiting to die, basically. I could swap, but at this point they're gonna keep attacking me. We'll just give them the time. Wolfie goes down. Voloren does as well. Alright, so now we bring in Nesla, and we're going to bring in the Sandy, because Tuvine is very weak against fires, so it would be nice to have the fires cleared out before we bring it in. So I'm going to use Aquatic Whirlwind. That'll finish off either Tolkien or the Drakash. Monuments does get its trait now. So it is going to be healing, which is pretty annoying, but there's nothing we can do about it. Doesn't have synergy for Digithreat. So all it does is damage, but even a 2x doesn't do that much, and it overexerted. So it really is just a matter of time at this point. We can Water Blade the Drakash. We'll just keep matter teleporting the Moments. I'm hoping it'll go down next turn. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's just some battles you just can't do any faster. Moments and Kinu is a very annoying combo that both individually are like designed to slow down games. So having them together is a huge pain. Alright, but that's Moments down, and that's 3 dojos down as well. Looks like the pacing of this video is going to be slower, like I said, just because the damage is lower. But we'll keep moving. Next up, we got the Quetzal Dojo with an emphasis on toxics and crystals. So this will be, because of the crystals, we'll be able to get a lot of value with, like I said, Broccolum earlier. Garrio's decent. I guess there's a lot of things that can hit crystal, and a lot of things that aren't weak to toxic, but there's a lot of things that can't hit toxic either. But we do have 2 of the bigger toxic counters in the game, being Voloren and Tuvine. So we got a whole bunch of things for this as well. So I wouldn't be worried. But this is another slower paced one. Urani typically likes to kind of stall us out with slow healing options, and it looks like this week is no different. So I'll ban the Waspine, just because that thing is, just by existing, it heals both allies, which is a huge pain. But now, we can't just pick Broccolum for free, because Adoro exists. And we can't pick Gario either. This is actually a little bit tough. I'm going to pick Voloren first, because there's not a whole lot of crystals here. There's only like the 2. So this is actually pretty interesting. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the Broccolum. And honestly, I'm going to test the AI a little bit. So typically, I think the AI is like really awful. We're going to ban the Adoraboros because that's the only thing that can really hit the Broccolum. I'm thinking the AI might actually just permanently target the Broccolum with toxic moves because it's super effective, or at least it would be normally. Do gotta watch out for the Nindrasil. The Nindrasil is kind of a bad matchup for this team. Outside of my Voloren and Tuvine and Hazrat. I mean, I got 3 things that deals with it, but 2 of them are banned, so it's just gotta watch out for it here. Or bring Nesla. Neither of those last 2 picks were doing a whole lot. Neither of them can hit Nindrasil at all. Wolfie can't much either, but it can at least exhaust it. It's like the team is... We'll use Feather Galley. The team is actually pretty interesting for the fact that it's kind of weak to nature by having 3 things that just can't really hit natures. being Gario, Volfi, and Nesla, but at the same time, it's got so many things that can deal with natures. Yeah, see, this is what I think the AI is just going to do. So this is kind of a way to cheese this one, is just having a strong liver. You will take the poison tick, but like they're going to keep attacking you, and they'll just heal that right back off, so... We did over half, so I'm just going to do that combo again and finish off the Volerand. Silly AI. Toxics are tasty to the... I don't... Toxic broccoli. Num 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 num. Back up to full health. And like it can hit crystals for 2x too. So it's like 2 Vine and even Acronox are just no problem. Now Garunder would have Piezo Electric Blow Up this turn, so it might use that on Volerand just to do something different. I don't know how it judges which move is best, but that is a real possibility this turn. I'm going to use Beef Up on myself, because I know I can take it, and Inner Spirit kills 2 Vine here. Yeah, so there's the Piezo. Take a lot of damage, but we do survive. And now it's not going to hit me for another 2 turns, so... AI was actually smart and tried to hit my Broccolum there. Unfortunately for it, 2 Vine goes down. I guess we probably shouldn't be playing with fire when we got Nidrasil in the back. I didn't need to take that Piezo. That was risky and probably a bad play. I would not recommend that. I'm gonna rest on the Broccolum just because I'm in no danger. Yeah, we heal a little bit. We do take poison ticks, but Garunder might even attack us again here, which he does. So now we heal even more. I think there's actually a bug right now that he heals less, but there's no reason to do anything else. It's still a very strong little combo. Just to run this guy in this gym. Alright, so Garunder does have Piezo blow up again. And in case you're wondering why I wasn't targeting this thing earlier, it has the ability Thick Skin, which makes wind moves do half damage to it. So like I'm just gonna swap in Volfi for Volerand here. I'll get the hold off of Dust Vortex, I'll one-shot the Acronox, and then we'll kill the Garunder next turn. Yep, there's the Piezo. 0 damage to Volfi. I think he OXs from that too, yeah, just a little bit. Oh, I thought the Acronox was going to live there for a second. If it was double screen, it would have. Alright. Should be game. Maybe this doesn't kill. Yeah, Garunder's pretty defensive on the special defense side. And the Volfi doesn't have that much attack investment. But it does go down, because Dust Vortex is a strong move. Alright. That's half the dojo's down. Keep going. Use Vumbi. So far, none of these have really even been close. I don't think this one will be either. I'm assuming Sandby is going to get banned here. It's very strong against Musa, if not. Because it can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the Tems asleep. And deal 2x damage. Especially if I were to ban Mudred right now. But at the same time, Broccolum is like ridiculously strong here as well. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to ban the Volcrane. And yeah, there we go. We get to have Broccolum eat the ban. So now all we have to do is bring in the Volphy to bait in 2 melees. And then we bring in the Sambi. Alright, and then we ban Mudrid, and we should just win with Sambi pretty much alone. But we'll bring, like, Gario. Gario's good against the Earth types. We'll bring these 2, just because you can hit most things neutral with Volorend, and Tuvine has wind moves as well. Turok is a bit of an issue, just like a little bit. It's also the only thing that can hit Sandby, so I gotta be a little scared of that. But I have Gario and Volphy, so I can manage it real easy still. Okay, so because Osakai is tankier than Sizemunch, I'm going to try and double attack the Sizemunch here. Also, Osakai doesn't actually do any damage until like turn 3. We do live. Volphy goes down a little bit faster than I'd hoped. Next turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Plague, and then I'm going to... Oh, actually, never mind. We're going to focus our efforts on the Turok. Going to Plague the Turok, but I'm still going to use Transient Echo on the Osakai, because I think I'll outspeed, and then I'll put it to sleep. And that's great. After the animations play. Yep, so we are faster than the Osakai. So we're able to get a hit off before it's able to hook. And then it puts it to sleep. Feather Gatling on the Sandby, we don't mind that. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to use Plague on the Turok, but then I'm going to use Matter Teleport on the Osakai. I want to try and kill the Osakai before it attacks here, because I am a little bit afraid of a +2 Dust Vortex. That would be a very strong hit. So instead of killing the Turok, like, it's low enough that anything can take it out at this point. I just wanted to knock out the Osakai. Able to avoid the Rock Fall thanks to our trait. Alright, so now I'm actually just going to Sandstorm, because that'll finish off the Turok, deal some chip damage to Yowler. And then we're going to Matter Teleport the Yowler. I could Transient, but I would be faster than the Volphy then. And I would wake up the Yowler with the Dust Vortex, or the Sandstorm. So this will make sure that the Yowler goes to sleep this turn and doesn't use any moves. And yes, the Volphy died. No, I don't care. Now we just bring in Tuvine and kind of finish out the game. You could bring in anyone at this point. Tuvine just has the most upfront damage. Gario's there too, but usually if I bring in Gario, they don't always attack the Gario because it's got the evasion. And I want Sandby to stay alive. Even though it resists these hits and I'm not worried, it's still just better safe than sorry. There is the comebacker Oshidashi there, which does a bunch. Double Edge will... Yeah, so this Momo doesn't actually have any moves it can use on the first turn of the battle. Alright, we're just going to use a move to finish off the Yowler, and we're going to use Transient Echo to sleep the Momo. Looks like a second one of those will kill, so we can use it before it's able to move. Otherwise, we could have just clicked Matter Teleport because our Samby's in no danger of dying. So this isn't as easy if there's less neutrals on the team. Like, I could sleep everything here except Turok, and that just allows me so much freedom. But it was still plenty easy. One Tem died. That's all. Alright, next up is Neoedo. So here, Nesla is almost surely to get banned. But Agareo is equally as good. So you pretty much focus your entire strategy around whichever one doesn't get banned. Because both can hit both electrics and waters, and most of the time they're not going to run, or electrics and digis. And then most of the time they're not going to run like moments, or so you just focus your ban on Amphitheater if it's there. At least for Gario carry. So there's not even a... Oh, there's a Moments. So we're probably just going to ban the Moments here. Because it's just going to slow things down. And we see a Volphy ban for some reason instead. So we can lead both Gario and Nesla. I'm going to choose Nesla first, because we might be able to bait in, yeah, Grumper and Scaravolts. So now we just ban the Zalbian because they can use Wastewater. It won't actually kill Nesla, but a Wastewater would at least like hurt it real bad. And I don't think there's like any issues here. We'll pick like Tuvine, Hazrat, sure, Volerend. Okay. So let me see. I wasn't paying enough attention to what she picked. Okay, so Nestle's able to come in for one of these guys. We can one-shot Monko with an Aquatic Whirlwind. We can one-shot Minotaur with... We can one-shot Minotaur with a Soil Steam. So the question is just how many turns does it take to kill Grumper? We're going to Water Blade the Grumper, and we're going to Soil Steam the Scaravolt. She might not even attack us this entire game and might just swap around. Nestle's a bit annoying because we can't one-shot the thing. I think Minotaur dies here. It would have to be really flippin' bulky to survive. But it's not unheard of. Ah, dang. That's really unfortunate. That slows things down dramatically. Drastically. I don't know what trait this Nestle is either. I'm just going to stay in Water Blade and we're going to Rockfall. Yeah, you know, this is what I was saying. I don't think she's going to attack me this entire game just because there's nothing on her team that can actually like do damage to me. I thought that would be the one board that she would be able to hit me with, if any. But she's not even going to risk it. She's just going to swap around, and I'm just going to slowly chip her down. Grumper does survive, which is a little unfortunate. We can Aquatic Whirlwind the Monko. And we can Laundry the Grumper. Can't avoid that. It's just going to happen. Basically stamina stalling at this point. Funny enough, so Synergy Laundry actually wipes stat buffs. So this here Scaravolt has a nice +2 to every stat. Well, it no longer has those. I'm gonna stay in Water Blade the Scaravolt. I'm gonna swap the Gario for anything other than Gario right now. Yeah, I mean, this... I'm not sure why the AI banned Volphy, to be honest. It seems like a really strange choice. Electric Storm does literally nothing to Nesla. I'm assuming the Monko might stay in now. So I'm going to Aquatic Whirlwind, and we're just going to use Crystal Plume Gatling. Yes, we finally knock out the Nesla. My Nesla OXs, which is unfortunate, but nothing you can do about it. Bright side is all the rest of the 3 Tems in the back are in range to die to anything, so I'm just going to click Mineral Hail and knock out 2 of them. This is the disadvantage of using a slower team, is while you're not going to die all that easy, you're going to miss kills on like 10% or so that you would get it with other builds. But it's definitely a worth trade, I'd say. And sometimes, even if you're max attack, you can't get kills, because the Nestle is max special attack, and the Gario is only like 100 TVs off. So I don't think either of those kills would have been different had I had max offensive stats. Lochburg, I think that's the melee. Yeah. Just came to me after like 3 more battles. Yeah, so far this team I guess is more cheesy than the other ones. I proved it can work in PvP too. It's like nothing about it is actually cheesy. There's no like super secret strategy with it. It's just I got a lot of good consistent typings. So this one does get a little bit sketchy. We pretty much are forced to ban the Broccolum because of how bad our team is against natures. And because Sandy gets banned for sure. I don't think that's going to be a problem though. So what I want to do is I want to bring my Broccolum. But I guess it's weak to 3 of their tomes, or 2 of their tomes. Oh, No, we're going to bring Broccolum. Yeah, so we scared in the Mashuk. And now I'm going to bring in Gario. Volarin got banned. I was expecting that, though it kind of sucks a little bit. So the one time I don't want to bring is Tuvine. Tuvine is slow and weak to melee. Volfi's also weak to melee, but it can get some plagues off, so it's not as bad. We can kill most of these with Nesla, so the one that's kind of sketchy that we can't is Shaolant. So we're going to knock out Shaolant, and then we're going to pick Nesla. And we're going to grab these 2 now. Hazrat I've probably used the least of any Tem. It would have really shined in the Nature and Fire dojos if they weren't loaded with Earth types this week. But that's fine. So, Broccolum's not going to do a whole lot of anything right now. I don't remember what trait this Magmut is. This is totally fine. And then if it's a toxic move, we just take no damage, except the poison tick. That's exactly how I wanted that turn to go, so that's awesome. I mean, I guess I was hoping to stay in on the Magmut and get good damage on that, but this is fine too. We got options for Magmut in the back. We got Hazrat and such. I'm actually going to stay in on the Broccolum here. I don't need it for much of anything. And I just want to start getting some chip damage on everything and maybe kill the Moala with a double spread move. Heal back up to full. I'm kind of glad this Mashuk isn't using melee moves. It would be a pain if it was. Because then my Gario would be dying. Not that Gario's like pivotal in this matchup. It's basically just there to do some damage immediately. So Magma comes back in. I'm just going to use Inner Spirit on the Mashuk because it's actually got relatively low special defense, so I'm sure we can kill it. Oh no, I mean not kill it from this health, but it'll be more valuable to target the Mashuk than to target the Magmut here, because Magmut's very bulky. Yeah, I mean, it still does like a quarter of its health. Considering it's a resist, that's really not that bad. And now we're able to hit the Magma. It does have Spec Gulp, so it's not completely free. We survived this. Argario's done its job, I'd say. I could have kept it around for maybe Chromion, but I don't think that's worth it. It's going to throw out another allergic spread, and we're going to... We're going to try and get like a cold geyser on the Magmut. Come on, use the wastewater, Mashuk. Ah, darn. It was too low on stamina. It was actually trying to avoid OXing, so that's why I kept using Uppercut. And it just so happened to be the right play. Alright, now we bring in Nesla, who's really good against Chromions. So we could actually outspeed whatever this Chromion does by using Water Blade, and we would probably kill it. But it's not all that much of a priority target, so I'm actually just going to rest. And I'm actually going to... Well, okay. You know, we'll T-strike it. I don't know if Water Blade kills it from this health, honestly. Nor am I really afraid of dying. Even if my Broccolum were to die, I'm not in that bad a shape here. Mashuk's at no health, Magmut's half, and its item is gone. I've still got 3.5 Tems left, so Golzy's the only one left that can do anything. I'm going to use Electric Storm just... Actually, we'll use Aquatic Whirlwind on the Golzy. I don't know who Mashuk's going to use Wastewater on. I knew an Oshidasha was coming towards the Nesla, and it's kind of questionable if I can live a Wastewater at this health. I don't think so. But I know somebody who can. Thanks, Broccolum. Alright. So now we use Inner Spirit on the Mashuk again, slowly chipping it down. Water Blade on the Golzy, and then we use Aquatic Whirlwind on the Magmut next turn, and hopefully it goes down. We'll bring like Hazrat with us too, so we have something else that can beat down the Magmut. Because I'm pretty sure I OX to death here. Yeah. Broccolum got a lot of value for not really having type advantage at all. Half its moves were resisted. Alright, we're gonna Wastewater and Aquatic Whirlwind. Alright, and the Magma goes down. GG. That second to last. Alright. Let's try not to go to the auction house this time. I almost always just, like, every time I use this warp, I go straight to the auction house. It's hard. I gotta, like, actively think about it to go to the dojo instead. Let's go. First of all, okay. So Tuvine gets banned here because it's the only crystal on my team. So then I'm looking at Nesla, because Nesla is an electric, and the only thing that Nesla can't deal with very well is Mix, because crystal. So it actually bans... That's really surprising. So I'm going to bring Gario here just to try and threaten out the Auhi, and also it's pretty decent against things like Lowaddle as well. So I'm going to pick Tuvine here, but there would be, like, you wouldn't have to, but it's just nice to have. we'll knock out the Auhi, and we'll just pick a couple fast things. We'll pick up the anything other than Broccolum, basically. Broccolum's had his time in the light. Alright, so I'm actually going to double into the Moala slot here, because I do not want this Moala to get to turn 2 and have a real melee move, because Double Gash does nothing. Doesn't even do a quarter of my health, despite it being 2x. It is faster than me, though, so I do have to watch out for that. Unfortunately, it survives. That really sucks, to be honest, but it is what it is. But this is why we run Tornado, because we saw the Moala was faster than us last turn, but it survived on low health. So now we can outspeed it with Tornado and kill it before it moves. Poor Garrio's getting exhausted from all this fighting. I did use Cold Geyser instead of Soil Steam because I know that Pocus and most Mentals have a lower physical defense than special defense. Alright, and then you've done your job, Garrio. I'm just going to use Mineral Hail to finish off Pocus, deal some good damage to Koish. And maybe I'll be able to attack with Garrio. No, I will not. Alright, so I'm actually going to bring in Volphy here, because Volphy can make the Koish overexert when it clicks Matter Teleport again. Because it lost like half of its stamina from clicking it the first turn. If you guys remember from when I was facing Valiar in the aggro team, it's still a support, and it still does like 0 damage. But it also takes like 0 damage. So it is overexerted and trapped. So I'm going to use Sandstorm, and I'm also actually going to use Crystal Plume to finish off the Valiar, just because it's annoying. And then all that will be left will be Vental. Koish might survive this, but that's fine if it does. Yeah, it does. If you wanted to play really safe, you would probably swap out Tuvine here, because Vental can hit with some really hard-hitting unseen blows. I'm not afraid, so I'm just going to keep it in, use Plague on the Koish, and rest. Yeah, there's the unseen blow. It does do a ton of damage, so if I take another one, I will die. I think it's a 50-50 on who it attacks next turn. I'll use Dust Vortex for a harder hitting special attack on this thing. Does go for the Volphy. If it didn't, it would have taken a lot of damage from the Dust Vortex, and then I would have just finished it off with my 2 physical attackers in the back. A lone Vental never ever wins against a Volarend with a special defense raising trait. Let's see if I can get him to attack me this turn, just so I can see how much damage it doesn't deal. Yeah, this is its nuke. Like, the highest damage option it has, and it still barely does a third, and I don't have a single buff up yet. So it's even just getting like 1 or 2 buffs, like the thing would run out of stamina before it kills me, and I'm still dealing solid damage to it the whole time through. So GG's. That is the last dojo, so let's speed run these Archtamers. Yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos. this will probably be the last educational video for a while. I got one more video planned that's Temtem oriented. And then the Temtem content's probably going to drop back down for a while. I guess I do have like one, maybe two VODs that I'll probably, or we're just kind of extra, and I might post just some bonus matches. Alright, Stowaway. So, first thing I see is if we ban Tolkien, that Tuvine has a really good match here. So I think we're gonna do that. Okay, Tuvine gets banned. Not super surprised, not super worried either. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick Broccolum. Perfect. Amphitheater can't really hurt Broccolum, and we've learned that Noxolotl's just going to be wasting turns constantly trying to deal with it. So I'm going to bring Volorend, because it's pretty good against most of these things. And I'm going to knock out the Mix, because Mix is the one thing that could hurt Broccolum pretty bad here. And we'll bring Nesla to deal with the 2 wins, just in case. We'll bring Gario to deal with the Valash, just in case. And we'll bring Volfi for plague options against anything we'd need to. I know I brought Volorend into an electric, but Amphitheater's damage is relatively low. And I just want to try and kill it turn 1 with a Nox Bomb plus a Soul Shout. That's the plan here. Soul Shout doesn't do too much damage, but it shouldn't need to. Nox Bomb should do plenty itself. This is a really funny situation here, because Noxolotl can't do anything at all. It can't hit Volorend, and it can't hit my Broccoli either. Is a snare. That is the worst snare ever. I just lost my sweatband, so now Volorend's... all it does is slow down the game. There's no way I lose this. Wow, that did way more than I thought. So we can actually kill that in 1 more of those. I can use Beef Up on myself. Now, the one thing that could kill me here is I don't know what trait Grandpa is. Oh, come on. He's really stamina stalling me. Why are you playing, like, now, the toxic guy, man? Don't do this to me. Oh, it does have Narco. Okay, okay. So it does have a way to kill me. I still think this is fine. We do have to watch out for the Amphitheater a little bit now, because Nesla and Gario can't do much of anything to it. I'm going to actually Inner Spirit the Grandpa, just because I think it's a problem. I think the safest play here would be to swap out Volorend to kill the Grandpa, and then bring it back in later. But I'm just going to go for a Feather Gatling on the Noxolotl. It is not bird season, so you don't have to worry about it killing you in this specific case. Acid Reflux. I was actually kind of hoping that Broccolum would die this turn. It's a little unfortunate that I don't think it will now. Grandpa does go down, though. Now we see Valash come in, now that the road is paved for it. I'm going to swap in Volfi just to get Volorend in the back and save some stamina. Yeah, losing the sweatband sucks. I would have loved to just stay in and click more damage stuff. So I do have to keep in mind that the Noxolotl is a little bit bulky. Because it took that Feather Gatling really well. I'm going to go double Earth Move into the Valash. even if Amphitheater comes in, it's still going to take pretty good damage from this, because it doesn't resist Earth. Okay, Noxolotl's trance, so it's going to fall asleep, gain some health back with first aid kit. That is kind of annoying, but it can't even hit the... It'll die in one more hit to the Voloran, so I'm not worried. Amphitheater is now in range to die to a couple more hits. I'm going to just get some chip damage on the Noxolotl, and we'll finish these off here. Mimit dies. Yeah, I might be outplaying me with the the Amphitheater. Swap it out so that my evasion wears off, and then bring us back in to use Plague now. That's pretty funny, actually. So the thing is, I did mention it before, but I do actually survive a Plague from Amphitheater. But this Noxolotl is going to use Acid Reflux. That's why I'm... Oh, it uses Allergic Spread. Okay, not what I was expecting. So the Gario always dies, and the Nox is just a nuisance, so I just decided to knock it out of play this turn. I also wipe off the regen tick by applying 2 statuses. Amphitheater does get relaxed, but I'm +2 on Voloran, so I'll be able to deal with that pretty well. It could use Bright Beam here, which would be a little annoying. I'm just going to rest on Volfia to get some extra stamina back. The +1 special defense from earlier is coming in handy. Amphitheater goes down. That was the only real threat on the team. Even if I left Nox awake and unexhausted, it still wouldn't be able to do much to me. It could use Narcoleptic hit, but I'd still survive that. I am now just going to use Feather Gatling and then Dust Vortex. Does no damage. Alright, Nox goes down. It does a Scavenger Valash, so it will heal a bit. I'll just Feather Gatling and Sandstorm. Voloran dies to this. Kind of close, but it does die. And it does heal some more, which is a bit annoying. Especially since Nestle's my last one. I don't know if I can kill it with a Water Blade. But... So I probably should have like played a little bit safer and not wasted so much stamina. The big thing that really caused me issues this game, though, was actually losing the snare item being used on my Voloran and canceling out its item. But the Valash still goes down. Nestle was able to take the Crystal Spikes like a champ and just Water Blade to finish off the poor Badger. And Dyra, alrighty. So Quadruple Mental makes Sandby pretty valuable. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets banned here. We've got a couple things that can deal with Chimerian with Broccolum and Hazrat. I think the biggest thing is to just take out Hedgen, because if I take out Hedgen, both Sandby and Broccolum become viable. Because if I pick Broccolum here, it's just going to be another situation with the Mashuk, where the Mashuk just keeps trying to use Wastewater on me. So then the only question is how do I kill the other bird? So I still have my Hazrat alive and Broccolum, so I'm not afraid of Chimerian. These two make me not afraid of the Tukai. Broccolum's good against Size Munch, but the rest of my team really isn't. So I think I'm going to take out the Size Munch. I'm going to bring in Gario. We'll pick 2 Vine, then we'll go the Volfi as well. Could have punished me there by picking Chimerian when I didn't have my fire. But I could have still just... If a Chimerian versus 2 Vine situation goes pretty even, 2 Vine usually can come out on top. Just doubling into this slot because I don't have much else I can do this turn. He actually steals my Volerand and still gets tag team, which is a little annoying. There's nothing I can do about it though. That was a lot more damage than I was hoping for. Yeah, tag team. Oh, it lives on 1 health if I were to double in. That's so bad. But it actually swaps out. That's not what I was expecting. Mashuk comes back in. I wonder if it's just going to be like a perma swap back and forth between those two. Ooh, high toe to put me to sleep. That was a good play by them. Kind of hoping I get wastewatered now so I get the heal. 2-2 taking a good chunk of damage. Not like nothing crazy, but damage is damage. I guess I don't get to be greedy with the beef up, and I'm just gonna go for a Nox Bomb on the 2-2. I could have gone for like, I don't know, Toxic Plume to get some chip damage on the Volerand, but I don't feel like I need to. I really feel like the AI is just gonna swap back and forth between them two until one of them dies. What was that? Meditation? Okay. Alright, because I think it's going to swap again, I'm not going to use Inner Spirit, but I would normally use Inner Spirit. I didn't catch if Nox Bomb kills. Yeah, see, here's the swap right back into Mashuk. I don't know like what the plan is here. I might get high-toed again on my Volerand. I do not. Just going to be a Feather Gatling, but it is +2, so it does do lots of damage. I think 2-2 goes down to this. I wasn't watching the health values exactly. That's good. 2-2 is a huge pain when it's the bulky variation, because it's able to provide tag team reducing damage, and it's got nutrition bar to constantly heal. Okay. So now I'm going to use Inner Spirit on the Mooflank, because Mooflank is like super vulnerable to special attacks. But we die because it's got Wardroom Resistance Badge and it clicked Bestial Charge, and it's faster than the Mashuk, who was trying to use Wastewater and heal me. Why do you wait until I'm dead? Why? No, I'm not really too worried about that. Because we banned the Size Munch, I didn't need to keep the Broccolum around for anything in specific. The Gyarados not going to get too much more value this game. Best thing it can do is use Soil Steam on the Mooflank to punish its weak special defense. Wow, that thing is max attack. Alright, I'll kill it in one more Soil Steam, which is nice, but I'm going to take quite a bit of damage here that I do not want to. I don't have any option. This is the closest match we've had so far. I can live the uppercut. Oh, he used it on 2 Vine though. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. It is stupid parrier, so the thing takes little damage. I am going to use Tornado on the Mashuk next turn, because it's low enough that I'll still be able to kill it, even with 0 special attack. Gyarados has now done its job. I'm going to swap it for Volfi just in case I need to keep the Gyarados around to deal with the Mimit in the end. Also, if this is a spreader 2 Kai, it's not going to do any damage to the Volfi. Yeah, there goes Mashuk. It is Spreader, so Volfi is able to be immune to all of its attacks, which is really nice. Alright, so because I know I can survive, or I can beat my own 2-Vine as Gario, I need to kill this 2-Kai. Because if for some crazy reason Volfi would die here, I would need Gario. Like, it's really important to have. Okay, so this one is going to be a win. It was a little sketchier than some of the other ones. Definitely not a free win, but a win nonetheless. I was like, why did that do so much damage? The Zen Meditation also gives it plus special attack. Plus, I don't know what stats that thing has invested. It might actually be like a mixed damage mimic. Alright, GG's, Indira. Whoo! Owlin, yeah. Chances are we're going to pick Volarend here. Yeah, I didn't even have to see the team to know that. Ban the 2-Vine. Okay. That's fine. Banning 2-Vine was always the best play, because not only is it the only thing that counters Volarend, it's also the only thing that counters Sandby, and Sandby is able to put Yowler, Magma, and Mashuk to sleep. But there are double natures, so we do have to be careful. I'm going to bring Hazrat first. Might pick Lawali, despite Lawali not having a good turn one. Oh, this is beautiful. Exactly what I wanted to see. We're going to ban the Taifu just because it could be natural conversion, which gives it a wind and earth move that are also very good. And they can beat Hazrat. We'll pick 2-Vine and Broccolum as our two. Those are kind of the backups just in case we have to face Lawali. They might not even pick it at this rate, and that's fine. We'll pick Gario as the last one just because Gario's better against like everything that's not named Lawali. Even though it's weak to melee, I am faster. I have enough speed in it so that it does outspeed a Magma, and I can use like Soil Steam on Mashuk and pick on its low special defense. That's one of the other benefits of Gario, is that it can hit both special and physical. I was attacking the Magma here because Mashuk is faster than me, and it would have always gotten a hit off had it attacked, just because it's faster. And I wouldn't have been able to put it to sleep. Magma, I will always be faster than, so I can always put it to sleep. I just heated up on Hazrat, because Hazrat wasn't in any danger here. He's not weak to the melee moves, and he would have been able to... Wouldn't have been weak to the fire or toxic, so I would have been able to just... I just wanted to scale up and then really punish, like, this Mimit swap in right here. I can throw another Matter Teleport at the Magma now. Even though Cycrox comes in, it's totally fine. Doesn't do a whole lot. Sandby is bulky, and I'm sure the Mimit is also bulky. Funny enough, we're taking advantage of his own trade on the Cycrox. That was not intentional. It just happened. Since we are a squishier Hazrat, we do take a lot of damage. I'm going to throw another Wastewater this thing's way, because I think it might die now that it has -1 defense. And we're going to throw a Hypnosis on the Cycrox. It does not die. Which kind of sucks. Yeah, it's a zero speed on the Mimit. So I'm sure it's like maximum bulk and probably some extra. Which would make sense because I'm +3 attack and it's still doing so little damage. I'm going to rest on my Hazrat, and then we'll Transient Echo to finish off the Mimit. Okay. So Lawali comes in, but Lawali just kind of dies immediately to Hazrat. Because I'm +3 attack. I will Lava Wave because Lava Wave has higher immediate damage. And I'm actually going to swap the Sandbee. We'll bring in 2 Vine. Could have brought in Gario for synergy, but I'm not worried about whatever Lawali does. It looks like it plagues the 2 Vine, which is fine. I just wanted 2 Vine in to maybe threaten out the Cycrocs a little bit with some wind moves. Boop! Yeah, poor thing. Cycroc should also attack the 2 Vine slot. Yeah. Alright, Hazrat's done his job now. I'm just gonna let him die. Just gonna use Wastewater on the Magma, hopefully take it out. Use Feather Gatling on the Cycrocs. Yep, Magma will die. Toxic Farewell doesn't really do anything. He has synergy on the microwaves, but I'm already planning to die this turn anyways. I just wanted to finish, or like, do some solid damage to the Cycrocs before then. Alright. Now we bring in Gario and Sandbee. I'm just going to double into the Mashuk because it's tankier. Also in a case where... No, I guess... Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go for it. I don't know if this one's going to be parry or not. Seems like most of the Mashuks are. This one is not. Yeah, Cycrocs just doesn't do that much damage. Which is a little sad. I like Cycrocs, but it's just so underwhelming. Alright. One left. Nala. Okay, so is this the same team as last week? I feel like at least the bottom 5 were the same. So I'm gonna ban the Amphitheater just because the nature type inherently is good against me. Now I want to run the Sandbee to threaten out these two, but I need to threaten out the Reignit in order to do that. So I'm just gonna bring in 2 Vine, which is crystal and can threaten out both of, or like all 3 of these. Sandbee 2 Vine might be able to just run through this entire thing by just doubling in with mental move and a crystal move before Turok's able to kill either of these two. So we're gonna ban the Mimit just because that's gonna be the only thing that prevents me from doubling in and killing something every turn, I think. And then from there, we'll bring like Volfi and probably Gario just as options to deal with the Turok at the very end of the game. And the Volarend is just insurance for the Nagais, just in case that thing would survive. Because Nagais kind of prevents Gario from doing anything. Alright, Crystal Plume, Matter Teleport. Alright, Venmet dies, but it does do like 60% to my 2 Vine, which kind of sucks. I could also put the Turok to sleep. I didn't try and attack it with that, but it just kind of happened. Ragnitz. I'm just going to use Crystal Plume. I'm just going to double attack it. There's... It's so tempting to synergy head charge the Turok. I didn't even see that possibility before. With synergy, the your head charge is normal prio, and you're able to outspeed things like a Turok before it's able to attack. Unfortunately, this Ragnit is insanely tanky and it survives. It probably won't kill me this turn because of it. I stand corrected. So the thing just has 0 speed investment. So Stanby goes down, but Venx wasn't picked anyways, and so Venmet was the one thing it really wanted to kill. Unfortunately, 2 Vine I did want to hopefully do a little bit more. I'm going to bring in Gario now. Because Gario doesn't do anything against Nagais. But Wolfie certainly can. Not real sure about this swap here. I guess he wanted to avoid the water move, but I clicked Mineral Hail, which will finish off the Ragnit and, like, practically kill the Nagais. So, yeah, you do you, Noah. I didn't think it would actually kill, but, you know, we take those, we take those. What even is a resist, anyways? This won't kill a Doro because the thing's really bulky. Toxic Skin doesn't particularly matter. I think Turok kills me here anyways. He's using Earth Wave, so it definitely will kill me. Gotta sit through Tactical Strike, Power Bank, procking back and forth. The sad thing is, I don't think I can end this next turn. Because even if I bring in Volorend and use Feather Gatling on the Adoro, I don't think it kills. I can use Laundry on the Turok, and somehow I'm the fastest thing on the board. Oh, it does kill. Nice. I thought I'd have to play one more turn. Alrighty. And that is it. So the only one we really struggled against was kind of Stowaway. But, I mean, the teams change every week, so it's not like I can give you an overall, like, do this every time guide. I think, like, the only one thing that really you can is the Broccolum on the Toxic Dojo. And it looks like you can kind of use some Broccolum cheese elsewhere as well, because the AI doesn't take into account abilities ever. So even with Electric Synthesizer and Nesla, but you can't rely on those. They're just good things to play around. So I hope this guide has been useful. Reminder again, if you want to use the team, like, you can always just copy it into your showdown and just, like, copy the spreads from there. Just, like, go in and, like, oh yeah, here's what the Wolfie spread is, sort of thing. So here's that code once again if you wanted to type that in. Otherwise, I did show the spreads off at the start of the video. I really hope all these guides have helped you guys. If you guys wanted to customize and make your own teams, I did also go through every single Tem and offer a build and like some scenarios where you may want to use the one I gave or change it up, or what, like a whole bunch of things I gave you. So feel free to play around with those and customize and try stuff out as you'd like as well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.